Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how life is a dance. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that mind and body connected movement is vital to healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I created Dance to Heal Wellness featuring the Spotlight Confidence Formula and also authored the best-selling award-winning book, Outside In Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new ways to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. The bottom line is right now, as they're starting to revamp and help people be more empowered, has what is it? What is that industry now called? It's a biohacking.
Yes.
People are getting more access to information instead of expecting. Like when I go into my doctor's appointments, it's not to trick them. It's more as like, hey, listen, I read up on this. Can you help me? Like, what's your experience with them? And I would say 50% of the time, it becomes this really engaged dialogue back and forth because my
Nice.
practitioners know, right? I want to have a discussion. I don't want to argue. I just
Right.
want their perspective. Have you read up on it? Like the person who does my hormone replacement has been really cool because she'll say to me, Jenny, if you find any research that you have a question, send it to me and I'll read it. Because sometimes, I mean, I'm an
Well,
OT.
cool.
I've done research papers. I used to remember how to analyze them, but sometimes I look at them and I'm confused. I'm like, what exactly is this report saying? Because people say, well, I read this report and it says this. And I'm like, I'm not getting that. And then this practitioner was like, just send me the research and I'll read it and help you decipher it. Because the point is that you want to have a team of people working with you, not um, people in the healthcare industry, everyone that was listening in, their goal is to help us.
Right.
That's why they entered the profession.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact you said 50% because if you're, you know, there's a lot of information out there, especially on social media, and some of it's good, some of it's not. But then take that information, bring it to your professional, bring it to the doctor. Now, if your doctor is not educated on it, that's one thing. We talked about this earlier. It's okay. I mean, the best doctors are the ones that say, you know what, I don't really know much about this, versus the ones that say, that's all garbage, but how they did the research, and the ones who poo-poo everything, and don't want that dialogue. Um, Maybe it's not the right doctor for you. Um, but it's, just take information and then bring it to your physician and do some deeper dive research before you accept everything. As you know, there's a lot of snake oil out there. There's a lot of supplements. I've tried a bunch of things. And first thing is, will it do any harm? No. So let me give it a shot. I'm still bald, so it didn't, that shampoo didn't really work. So.
I do miss your humor. Well, I'll tell you that my hair started getting thicker from being on the hormone replacement because I was starting to
Sure.
go bald and I was like, oh my God. One of the things I gave up after chemo, I was like, at least the hair's going to grow back. Then I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, the hair's coming back. So that's nice. But I'll tell you,
Good.
what I really am enjoying about the hormone replacement has been the increased strength and recovery. Because my husband didn't realize until he met with a person who specialized in recovery, like rehab for more elite athlete workout. He works out like a crazy person. My husband, you would understand this, Peter, because you work at that level. And for him, he didn't realize that his recovery process, like his recovery time, was increasing until he went back to levels of T that were what regular doctors would be. Well, our regular doctor who's like, you're at risk for a stroke. And the other doctor who prescribed him the T is like, no, you're not. Like, because he's basing it off research that's been done
Right.
over years that our current regular family practitioner person hasn't looked up, right? So
Right.
we just made the independent choice for him to be at a higher T level so that he could recover from having, I think he had 11 broken ribs from a car cutting him off when he was on a bicycle.
Ooh,
So
ooh.
it's like, and he works out crazy, y'all. So for him to not be able to work out without pain was worth him having the increased levels. And then he just discovered, oh, his muscle mass came back because he's a full vegan, my husband, and he was losing muscle mass. And now all of a sudden his muscles came back and his recovery time decreased.
No.
So, certain times you have to make a decision. Like my breast cancer, I'm triple positive. So that means like my tumor markers were positive for hormones that I'm actually replacing in my body now. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And for me, the risk of a hip fracture was greater than the risk of my cancer coming back. Because now they're saying that they're like women who are in menopause, if we break a hip, 3 out of 10 of us won't make it past like the first 2 years post hip fracture because it greatly affects our health and well-being. And my osteoporosis was much worse in the last 2 years. So I went into hormone replacement and increased strength training to combat the osteoporosis that showed up.
Right. And your hormonal levels are a lot better.
Yeah, my hormone levels are better. My osteoporosis is I get another bone density test the end of this year to see if it's increasing. Of course, my oncologist, because they don't know. There's not been enough tests done. So they're going to say to me, well, we really don't want you on the hormones for more than, let's say, 10 years, right? Because that's all they can say. When before it was, we don't recommend any hormone replacement at all because you're triple positive, right?
Right.
And then here's the thing, I don't have a history of breast cancer anywhere in my family. There's
Wow.
no history of it. It just showed up. And there's more correlative studies now having to do with like unresolved trauma in your body type of thing. So it was really correlated to that than anything else. And I also cut out whey proteins, which they studied that does increase um, cancer increase in these studies called force over knives. And then also the China study. There are studies out there that correlate certain levels of whey protein that will increase cancer cells in people's bodies. And if you look at
Male or female? Male or female?
male or female, like well, here's the thing, you have to remember, I'm Asian and we don't have dairy in our diet normally.
Sure, yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for me to, because I can't even digest dairy. It never
Right, yeah, I know.
compatibility,
That's,
right?
when Asians come over, they have more GI problems.
Right. We have more
Right.
J problems. And in the China study, because in China they can track longitudinally and also timelines, and they track that the coastal areas had higher rates of cancer and heart disease because they were more affluent. And then the intercoastal
Mm.
rural areas had less cancer and heart disease because they didn't have access to cheese and milk and even meat as much.
Meat, red meat, yeah.
Everything, all of that correlate. In the States, there's studies that during our world wars, when they took away milk and meats, our cancer and heart disease rates went down because they were directed to our soldiers. And then when we were not in war and everyone had access again to dairy and meat, all of the cancer and heart rate diseases went back up.
And he does, well, that's back when, before
Hold on
they,
one second, Peter. I don't know why we are. Here we go. Oh, you back?
I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Sorry about that. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what were you saying?
Yeah, so I said, I don't know, then is that prior to their injecting the cows with hormones and,
This was during our world wars.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
Right, it's before that.
it was before that. It was
That
before
had
the
nothing to
hormones.
do with the hormonal.
No, it had to do with the specific level of whey protein people were exposed to. They correlated in actual lab rat studies.
Wow.
Yeah, if you look up the China study, it's pretty crazy. And also, force over knives, they were able to uh, help people who had certain levels of heart disease that were inoperable, and the doctors had given up on them. They couldn't do anything with them, and so they put these clients, patients on totally vegan, low fat diets and reverse their heart disease
Very interesting. Well,
completely. And we only went off in that tangent because my husband's he has an older brother who passed away at the age of 26. And when they did the autopsy, they found that at 26, he had 4 major arteries blocked in his heart. So he died from a very sudden heart attack, like just dropped dead one morning.
whoa.
No idea, like no clue. But then I worked in cardiac rehab, so I know certain people who may present as very thin actually had very clogged arteries.
Yeah, that's
Right?
great. Oh,
It's crazy. Yeah.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yep, you have to do your own research today. You
You
have to
really,
go, and you have to go to the specialists and the subspecialists. So there are gynecologists who don't learn anything about hormonal replacement in school and their training, and then there's gynecologists who specialize in, HRT, right? So you really need to know who you're going to and their level of expertise in that field.
So true. It really is true. And there is a certain level of really needing to be aware of why you're going to someone, right? Because sometimes you want an answer you're not going to get. It won't matter how many specialists you're going to, right? Because
Right.
I mean, there's a certain level of basic health knowledge out there. Like, for example, if you're very sedentary, right, there's no magic pill that's going to help you lose weight. There just isn't. And also the health condition of your body requires movement, even if it's just gentle walking for 30 minutes. That's irrefutable knowledge. And I'm like, for my audience members who are getting a little defensive, I'm serious about this. Like, you must be active. Your body is extremely efficient. So what you don't use, you lose. Like, if you don't reach overhead, you will lose the
Right.
flexibility underneath your armpit. That's it. It's because your body's going to go, why am I going to keep you being flexible down there? You're not using it. Why would I use the energy to keep you flexible? So the goal is, when you're listening to this particular interview with Peter, ask yourself, where am I needing to utilize my abilities? Meaning, Peter wants you to exercise more love and kindness. I'm asking you to direct that towards yourself first, and being clear that in any relationship, right, you're remembering, does that person, like, your perspective is, does that person even love themselves? Because if they don't, most of the time they'll be quite the antithesis of how you want to be approached.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely should. It's not selfish to take care of yourself, because then you have more energy, you're in a better position to help more people. So just think of it that way. When it's like that whole oxygen mask coming down. Put yours on before you put your child's on, and it's so important. I tell my docs all of this. It's about energy preservation. You want to like have all the energy available to be present for your patients. If you have a business, your clients, your customers, so you could be the best version of yourself. When someone is upset with you, a customer is upset with you, and you're like, your 100% best version of yourself, you are more likely to be able to handle that situation than when you're like, your tank is empty and you're tired, you're exhausted, and you basically like, just go ahead, go leave me alone, and start yelling at them back and cursing at them. And right. So it's really about taking care of yourself, exercising. And you don't have to be in the gym like crazy me for an hour and 15 minutes at a time. Just some movement. And really the goal is when you're 85 to be able to get off the toilet by yourself. And I'm half joking about that, but I mean, if you can sit down, that's why you do squats. You sit down, you get off the toilet, unassisted. And if, God forbid you ever need a major surgery, the people in better shape, they rehab quicker. The rehabilitation is faster. They heal faster. Everything's faster. My fiance's father, at the end of December, got back surgery. Two levels fusion, and I will tell you, about within like a couple of weeks, he's walking with a walker, and now 6 weeks out, he's driving. And because he moves every day. May he be playing golf, may he be in his bowling league. He's 85 years old, so bowls, golf. That's his biggest concern, that he wouldn't be able to do this again. He goes to the gym. He moves every single day and does stuff for fun. And it's a huge difference being in shape. He watches what he eats. Just taking care of all that. Now I'm not saying I'm not drinking again, but I purposely feel better when I'm not drinking. So I haven't had a drink since January 1st. And I don't know if it correlates to some. I'm an asthmatic and I have two different inhalers, and I haven't had to use them in approximately like I think it's been like over 2 weeks now. And it's winter, really cold here in New York City. It's usually when I need it. So knock on wood, I don't know if there's a correlation to that or not. But it's good to know.
Oh, thank you for that share. I think it's really important because I'm an asthmatic and I'm usually on two or three different types of anti uh what is it? Antihistamines.
Yeah,
So
too.
yeah, and I'm like not necessarily on the regular stuff that people take when they have allergies, but I'm on Allegra, Zyrtec,
Mm.
and then because I got a bout of vertigo that would not go away after a cruise 2 Januaries ago, I've been having to be on Mucinex D to calm my inner ear because I have stress-induced vertigo. So it was really interesting that I had to up all of my things at the same time. I'm on inhalers like 24/7 for my asthma. Okay, we're gonna ignore the fact that I have 10 cats, but
Oh,
because my audience members know I have a lot of cats, and we groom them every week. We do a lot of with air filters. I have the Pacogen sprays and stuff, and really truly, it's been the decrease in dairy. I don't normally drink anyways because I have no enzymes in my body to actually metabolize alcohol, so it stays in my system way too long.
sure.
Right, so it's not worth it. It's like that momentary high means like 2 weeks of suffering afterwards type of thing.
Mm.
And being in like menopause, I've been making healthy choices since July and replacing the extra like abdominal fat that I had accumulated post the cancer treatment into more muscle, which has been the
Nice.
defining factor in like me just feeling better as a person and feeling stronger. So there's so much more research out there, even for anyone in menopause or menopause. You call it womenopause. I like that.
Right, menopause, yeah.
Womenopause. Just the more emphasis and general knowledge about how really it's not the weight, it's the muscle mass we need to have that increases your recovery. Like my husband, when he was in that surgery, even though he had to go on a PICC line. So audience members, a PICC line is when they do a direct line through your arm artery into your heart to feed your body essential, like breakdown. It's not food. It's just like essential amino acids. What's you're missing in your diet. They took his blood and like you're missing this and this. And they inject this white milky fluid into his body to try and keep him alive, to keep his heart system running, his brain running, right? And then he had to slowly bring food back into his diet. Yet, because my husband works out like Dr. Peter, like a crazy man, like all the lives that we've known each other, he was back to full strength within 4 weeks, even though he had the post surgical, you can't lift a certain weight over until 6 weeks. And he had abdominal surgery 10 days apart because he got 2 bowel obstructions back to back. He was recovering really quickly in a negative way because they said when they opened up the second time, his scar tissue from the first surgery was like sticky already within 10 days.
Oh,
It was nuts. Like he was accelerated in his healing in almost like a negative way. Anyways, my
great.
point
Yeah,
is he was back to full strength within 6 weeks.
that's great.
You
It's
know,
good.
yeah. Yep. He drove the nurses crazy because he was looping
Mm.
circles around the nursing station from day one. Right.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, Peter, what is one thing you want my audience to keep in mind as we end this time together? Now, remember, you do want to go to peterwishnie.com, folks, for his free resource. What's
Thank you.
one thing you would do, Peter? You want us to do?
Do I want you guys to do?
Mm-hmm. Me too, included. I'll do it.
Sure. I want everyone before they go to bed every single night, write down 3 to 5 things they're grateful for. You probably say this all the time, Jenny, knowing you, but I will tell you, sometimes you just like, it's like you forget to do it, and then you miss it one day, 2 days, but after a while, you know, life is life could be easy, but life overall, if you listen to everything, it's hard. There's a lot of negativity in the world. Um, but like today, um, today's actually a warmer day, but it's been like single digits here in New York City with lots of snow all over the place. I'm like, I just want something simple. I'm grateful for I have heat and a roof. keep me warm, a nice warm sweater, that I'm healthy, that my family's is great, and everything else is gravy. So just write down what you're truly grateful for, because it's so easy to bitch and complain. Our minds are set that way. It's a way to protect ourselves, to see other people feeling the same way. So now we have agreement on, yeah, life is hard. It's, this sucks and that sucks and all that. And then we agreeing on the negativity. Let's agree on the positive side.
Thank you, Peter. I love that. I love that. And then my audience members, remember you have the monthly masterclass with me at movetobloom.com. So we'll always continue that exercise. But I like the reminder in your voice, Peter, to do this exercise every night. Thank you so much. I think you have to come back and we'll have to do a part 2, okay?
Sounds great. I love it.
All right, great.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Peter. Audience members, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Dance to Heal podcast with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of inspiring triumph and learn more ways that you can heal yourself. To work with me and continue your journey, visit danceandheal.com. Are you ready to move?